YouTube, what's going on with y'all, man? It's your boy Trav back with another one, and I have another special guest.
How you?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. My name's Achille. It's my brother since high school, man.
Yes,
So I had to
sir.
come through, man. We've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm happy to be here.
About a year in the making.
Yeah, for real, for real.
Yes, sir. But this is a special edition for me. I wanted to do this too around this time because around the time we're recording this, it is Father's Day this Sunday, and me and Akili were talking about, you know, just the different challenges and things you go through as a black father in particular. But, if fathers in general, I feel, experience a lot of the same things. But, you know, just got to get into it. We got a lot of stuff to touch on, brother.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Because, as you know, it's an adjustment.
Yeah,
Especially we relate in the sense that we both are raising boys.
yeah,
So, especially in the world we live in now, it's like the challenge of raising a
yeah,
young black man.
yeah, man. For real, for real.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's just trying to find a balance of being tough and being caring at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to seem like, to me, like you're not caring enough, or you're not
Right.
caring, you don't care at all, or you're too tough on your son as a black man, because
Mm-hmm.
they could grow up with all types of
Resentment.
resentment and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and you don't want that. And that's one of the biggest things I don't want, for real, for real.
Yeah. No, I feel that. and that's kind of, I feel like that's the challenge of, how do you find that balance? You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know how people always say, in the cases where a dad isn't in the home, the son, when they get to a certain age, will start to act out.
Yeah,
They'll start to do certain things. And, being around people that have a situation where the dad isn't in the house all the time, or,
Yeah.
it's a situation where the father is just absent.
yeah,
You see those things.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like just having, a dad like you or like me, just being in the house with your kids and,
yeah,
just seeing them frequently if it's
Yeah.
a situation where you're not in the crib all the time,
Yeah.
because things happen.
yeah, definitely.
But if you're in that space and you're putting those things into your kid, and you, like you say, you find that balance of being stern but not being unloving.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I think just finding that balance is just like, I think that's one of the toughest parts.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
'Cause-
And also another thing, I don't want to make it seem like my ex now is the villain,
Mhm.
when she is like more stern or more strict, and I don't want my son trying to play us against each other, because kids are definitely smart, so they know who is a little more loose with the a little more lax with the accountability to them, and they gravitate to that one. So I
Yeah.
don't want to make my ex feel like she is the just a no nonsense type person. I want her to be able to be the fun parent also, and be caring and show that side of her, and not make her feel one dimensional.
Mhm.
For real.
No, that's understandable. I definitely get that. I did have there was something I wanted to touch on, bro. Cuz I was thinking about it last night, and I guess my question to you is, like, what is your fear as a father?
My fear as a father is really being a failure.
Mm.
I feel like I failed my son in certain aspects, like teaching him how to navigate life, how to treat people, um, how to show respect and whatnot. I don't want my son growing up having any type of phobias, homophobia, transphobia, nothing like that, because at the end of the day, life is already hard, and
Yeah.
you don't need to be showing resentment or hate to people that you don't understand, that you're not in their position. You don't, you'll probably never feel that way they feel, because that's not who you are.
Mhm. That's true.
And I don't want to take any love away from my son. If he is, if he does identify with any of those aspects of life. If he is gay, if he is in LGBTQ or IA or anything like that, I just want to be a caring, loving father that supports my son no matter what. Because a lot of people say, I hear a lot in the black community, as a black man, people say, "Oh no, I can talk to my, I disown my son if he was gay or
Mm,
this and that,"
yeah.
and that just don't sit right with me because I done seen this boy grow up or watching him grow up, teaching him. All I want for him is the best and for him to be happy because that's just the way I would want somebody to treat me,
Yeah.
honestly.
No, I feel that. And, you know, I echo that same kind of feeling. And for me, it's also to the point where it's um, like I've talked about this before. I'm a strong advocate for kids that are on the spectrum or kids that have any other type of disability because my son is on the spectrum, right?
Okay.
So it's like, growing up, in public school, PG County schools, if
Yeah.
y'all know, it's rough.
Yeah.
You gonna get the jokes, you gonna get teased, bullied, whatever. And it's like my fear as a father is when I have to send him out into the world
Yeah.
and people don't understand him.
Yeah.
And then it's like you love your kid,
Yeah.
but other people they just see him as somebody else and that they have to go to school with. They don't know him.
Yeah.
They don't want to get to know him. And then, if he's different,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why like what you said, I kind of relate to it on a different plane because it's the same kind of situation where somebody is identifies as a, whatever, they are seen as strange or they're seen as whatever
Or weird or
or
something.
weird,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, that's my ultimate fear as a father is just like having to send him into the world. And I think that's the thing with a lot of dads that we don't really talk about is like we want to be able to not necessarily control,
Yeah.
but you want to help as much as you can, bro.
Definitely.
And it's like he's about to go to school and I'm like, man, like that feeling of just like your innocent child, you got to ship them off into the world and they don't necessarily, and, in his case, he doesn't necessarily understand. And my wife said something that hit me one day because it's the world we live in now where she was like, all the school shootings and stuff that happened.
Yeah. Definitely.
She was like, would he even know to be afraid? When she said that, bro, that killed me. And I was like, when I thought of that question, I was like, that is my fear as a father, bro. It's just having to let him go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not talked about too much with dads. You usually hear the mom say, oh, I had to let my kid go. They had to live their life. And, I want him to grow and bloom. But it's like, man, how do you deal with that when it comes? Because it will. Like, how do you deal with your child being upset or judged or,
I just
you
feel,
know?
I just feel like you gotta take it one day at a time, honestly.
Yeah. No, you're
'Cause
right.
every day is gonna be different, especially because your son is on the spectrum, and I can't relate to that.
Mhm.
I wouldn't know one thing to know about that. Honestly, my ex, she worked with a lot of kids on the spectrum and whatnot, so she was a counselor for them. So she dealt with it every day, and she obviously saw the things that went on, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't relate. So I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't know what to do in that situation,
Yeah.
honestly. But like I said, I think you just got to take it day by day and attack the challenges as they come.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are going to be kids that don't understand, their parents don't tell them, or they don't put emphasis on there are going to be people that are different than you and stuff like that.
That's facts.
So I just feel like that's where when something happens, you definitely got to attack it and address it the first time
Yeah.
because you don't want that to keep happening. Because your son, like you said, he's on the spectrum, and your wife said he might not know what's going on, or he might not know how to handle that situation because he's wired differently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a that's a big thing, and definitely attack it head on and be upfront with it. And I just feel like being present. You definitely got to be present.
That is a fact.
Being present is
Yeah.
definitely a big thing. And like you said, when we grew up in PG County schools, like we didn't really know what autism was. Really.
No, that's a good. Yeah, we
Like
didn't.
when I grew up, I didn't know nothing about autism or
Nope.
anything like that. It was just all we knew about was the kids that had Down syndrome and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know somebody could be autistic and be naturally functioning
Yeah.
and regular stuff like that. So that's just a big that's something new to the game, honestly. And being with my ex and seeing her work with all those autistic kids and whatnot, and some of them being non auditory and stuff like that, and some of
Mm-hmm.
them being auditory. It's just a lot to come with that. And I commend you and your wife. Y'all doing a great job with all that stuff because that's definitely hard,
Different. Yeah.
brother. I could definitely tell you that shit. I know it's hard.
Yeah. It's just definitely, and you know, I feel like that's the thing that comes with all kids, bro. Where it's just like
Yeah.
there's there's always gonna be a challenge. I feel like no matter what people try to put labels like on certain things,
Mm-hmm.
in raising a child, period, it's always gonna be a challenge. Some might have a little bit of an extra challenge, which is why, like, you know, a lot of times, like, I want to make sure that people aren't. It's not a situation where people feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, or or look at him differently,
Pity him and stuff
or
like that.
pity him because
Yeah.
it's not. He doesn't feel that way. I can tell. Like, you know, when you see your kids growing and you start to see their like certain things in their personality come out, I'm like that you I feel you. Like, even though cuz like you said, my son he's nonverbal.
Yeah.
So, and he's just starting to get his words out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in him doing that, he's expressing his emotions when when he's sad, when he's angry, when he's happy. And just seeing those key things or those key moments as a father, bro, it's like it's the best thing in the world. And like you said, I know a lot of people can't necessarily relate to having a child on the spectrum. And it's just a stressful thing, but at the same time, bro, like once you accept what it is, like you said, you take it day by day and you gotta attack the challenges head on. And I feel like that's what we have to do as dads, but to a certain extent, because that was another thing I was going to talk about, where as a father, when does it get to a point where you stop ignoring your feelings, you stop just kind of like sheltering all your feelings to in one place? Like, I feel like we put them in a box and then we lock them away. We don't talk about it. We don't we don't express it sometimes. I feel like nowadays men are getting better at it. And I just, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that like in day and age now, it's more acceptable for a group of guys to be together and just talk about real shit?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's important.
Yeah, it's definitely important. Me, honestly, when I was in the Marine Corps, I went to counseling for like my last year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and it was eye opening because I talked about a lot of like my upbringing and whatnot, uh, especially because I was just become a dad and stuff like that. It was I want I just wanted to like dive into how my dad and I interacted
Mm-hmm.
because I'm Caribbean and the way I grow up is just like your parents or your dad, there aren't your friends. So it's just like it's the weirdest thing ever. Like even now, me and my dad talk, but it's like it's the same questions all the time. We haven't really had anything deep
Yeah.
or anything like sophisticated, but I don't hold that against him
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, he was working all these hours just so we could survive. So
That's
I
true.
don't, I, I don't hold that against him. Could he be better in certain places? Yes, but at the same time, his main priority is like I need to make sure my boys can eat,
Mm-hmm.
sleep, not have to worry about clothes and all types of stuff like that. And I commend him for that, especially you coming to America as an immigrant and just hitting the ground running. So that's the fight I have within myself and with my dad.
Yeah.
I haven't really expressed this to him honestly, but I think I'm getting better at that to where I can express myself towards him and whatnot. I've talked to my mom about it
Yeah.
and whatnot, but it's just that's the biggest thing because I want to go from break the cycle of it's just I'm just your father and we can't be friends. Like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I'm your father and that comes first, but at the same time, I want you to be able to come to me and talk to me about certain things because right now I don't talk to my parents about certain stuff because I was like. I just feel like it's kind of taboo. I don't want my parents know about certain things about
No,
my
no,
life.
no, for
So it's
real.
just like
Yeah.
I don't come to them and talk to them about stuff. I talk to my boys, I went to a counselor, I talked to a counselor. I talked to my ex about certain stuff. So it's just like it's uh it's 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 definitely a topic I want to explore more in my life and get better at and
Mm-hmm.
bridge the gap between generations because my dad and my son interact perfectly well and stuff. He's always happy to see him
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I want to bridge that gap so we could get on the same page. I feel like and be better.
No, that hey, bro. That's definitely understandable, and you know, it's funny that you brought up that point of like, your dad had to be, he had to work. He had to maybe work multiple jobs just to
Yeah,
make sure everybody's straight.
yeah, definitely.
And I think a lot of that ties into because like sometimes I wonder, bro, like have you ever thought the men that came before us, like people that are our fathers' ages and
Yeah,
stuff, they didn't have outlets like we do now.
yeah,
They were raised completely different.
yeah,
So it's kind of like I wonder sometimes what does their mental look like?
yeah,
How do they feel? But the thing with the old heads, you will never know that, bro.
yeah,
And I feel like that's a problem, especially in our community.
yeah, definitely.
It's more than likely that you'll never hear some of the stuff they went through.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up, I can honestly say that my dad was like he was rock solid with letting us know that he loved us and
yeah,
you know giving us hugs and stuff like that. So he had that loving side of him.
hmm
But like you said, my pops was working two jobs pretty much. I would say all the way until I graduated. And the thing is, when I look back at it, and I told him this too,
yeah, hmm
where it's like, bro, he was working two jobs to like you said, make sure we were fed, paid the bills and stuff. But at the same time, bro, while he's doing that, he was saving to for we go on vacation.
okay,
And I'm just like, that's the type of father that I strive to be.
yeah,
The type of husband I strive to be is just, I guess, when you finally get to that point where you know that you can put your like sometimes like you could put yourself to the side because we could be selfish.
yeah,
I mean, it's just human nature. But
yeah,
it's like when you look at your child and it's like, man, I got to do this for you.
yeah, definitely.
And I think that's the most important thing. But at the same time, always make sure you figure out some kind of way to get those um some of them feelings out.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's important. You got to express it.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah.
I think a big thing I noticed when I got with my ex wife was how much her parents told her that they loved her and stuff like that. Before
Hmm.
that, like my parents, like we didn't say it around the house like
Yeah.
often and stuff like that. Every time she left the house or she got off the phone call with her parents, they would say, "I love you" and this and that, yada yada yada. And she was one of the main ones that brought it up and made it a big thing in our house. Now that we say it, now we usually say it more times than not,
Hmm.
honestly. And I didn't notice that was a thing we were missing until I saw somebody else really doing it. And then now that I look back at it, I was like, damn, sometimes I didn't hear that until in my 20s and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
No.
So I
Yeah.
didn't like
Yeah.
hear my dad say, "Oh, I love you guys," stuff like that consistently, or I wasn't really paying attention and never really heard it often enough
Yeah.
until I was like 20 and stuff, like in my 20s. So it was just eye opening for real. It was just like and and my conscience, I knew that they loved us because they did
The
the best they
actions.
could.
Hmm.
They provided for us. They challenged us. They held us accountable. And in my heart, I know you wouldn't do those things if you didn't love someone.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And not everyone is verbal about their love for you and stuff like that. Obviously, everyone's language is different, the way they express their love. But it is nice to hear, obviously. But at the same time, I still knew.
Yeah.
But hearing somebody say it and stuff like that, I feel like I was like, okay, that also is a good thing too,
That's true.
because you can work all you however much you want for someone, and they'll still say that, oh, that's your responsibility. You're supposed to do that, this and that, yada yada yada. There's always a different perspective to things in life. But the perspective I took was they did all this stuff because they loved us.
Mm-hmm.
They cared for us. They wanted to see us succeed. They sacrificed so much to come here and for us to succeed. And that's the way they showed their love. But now that we're older and stuff and a little different,
Yeah.
they're showing it in a different way since, you meet new people and they introduce you to new things. So I thank my ex for that a lot. And I'm glad that she really like opened our eyes as
Yeah.
a family to that.
That's
Honestly.
understandable. I feel that. I feel that. All right, bro. So
Yeah.
I had another question for you.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
When you first had your son, how'd you feel?
So my son was born on Juneteenth, for the people.
I was about to say.
For the people. And it was mind blowing because I watched the whole thing. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. I watched the whole thing. To me, it was like there's really not much you can do as a dad in the operating room. Obviously, like the motivational words and stuff like that, helping
Yeah.
with the breathing and stuff like that. But it's kind of mostly out of your hands. I just had to sit back and watch and hoped and prayed everything went well. And before that, like I've only been around a couple of kids, honestly,
Yeah.
consistently.
Same
And
here, bro.
had changed probably like one or two diapers as practice because my son was about to be born.
Yeah.
So like the whole being around a kid and knowing all that stuff, like it was so new to me. Like the first like couple of nights in the hospital, I was so tired. I passed out. And my ex-wife got so mad at me because she had just had the kid. She was tired. Her body was worn out because of pregnancy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, I just couldn't stay awake because also at the same time I was in the Marine Corps and my schedule was weird as ever because I would work even weekends and I got all types of stuff going on. So I just wasn't prepared for a kid on top of that. And plus I was ignorant going in. I was just like figuring it out as I go. The first like 5 months was really the worst.
Bro.
The worst time.
I thought people were joking when they said that. They're like, oh yeah, when they turn 6 months it get better. I was like, y'all niggas ain't lie.
Yeah.
Cause
The first 5 months is horrendous.
dog.
I do give my ex-wife a lot of props because she set the schedule like really good on our son. He sleeps on his own now. He's been sleeping on his own for like 2 years. He started sleeping on his own at like 7 months. So
That's
like,
good.
So like 3.5 years, he's been sleeping on his own.
Yeah.
We literally just put him in bed and he duke it out with whatever he got going on, whatever he fighting in there. He end up asleep. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you gotta do.
He end up asleep. He never slept. He slept with us for about 5 months, so we could just wake up, change him whenever you need to, fed him and stuff like that. And that was really the hardest, challenging time in my life because on top of that, we had just bought a new house too. So it was just like everything was going on during that time. And it was just the hardest time, honestly.
Yeah. Bro, I'm glad you came and did this because we relate in that sense where it's like so right before he was born, we moved out here a month before. Moved out here. Then, he came and then like you said, I'm watching the whole the whole birthing part and all this stuff. Yeah. And then my wife had like for some reason her blood pressure was straight the whole pregnancy, bro. Yeah. Get there, it was like through the roof. Yeah. So that was a whole thing where it's like they gotta keep her on certain type of stuff so she good. Yeah. And so she's knocked out, like sleep. Yeah. As soon as he come out. And I'm literally holding him. I put him down. I go back over there. I check her out. I can honestly say that it's going to sound crazy, but when my son came, bro, that was the most useless I've ever felt in my whole life. I was like, the thing that it was a shock because it's like, yo, you're in a situation where you can control none of this. Yeah. I was like, you're trying to make sure he good. They saying he got jaundice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and then my wife over here like drugged up out her mind because of that situation going on. So I'm literally running back and forth between them two. Like, yo, like, so I feel you the whole way from when they came out to, like you said, adjusting to a new crib.
Yeah.
The first 6 months is hard as a champ,
Yeah.
bro. Like, cause it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment for everybody, you know. And
Yeah.
that's just us as dads speaking. I know it's 10 times harder for them. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
they just had to do this crazy thing, and then
And it's gonna change their bodies forever.
yeah, and then they still got to be a mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I commend women for having for going through that whole thing. You know, and I want to see how you feel about this too, bro. Where it's like when your son first came, with you not necessarily, because I feel like I kind of like fit. That's where I feel like I failed. I didn't really get into that, but that's where I feel like I failed was when he first came. I was still in drive mode where I'm like, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
I gotta work. I gotta do X, Y, and Z. Cause like as soon as he came, I was back to work like that next week.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really here that much.
Yeah.
And now, like my wife will tell me, she was like, when he first came, she had to do a majority of the work.
Yeah.
And then, just hearing that, and it's like, it sucks because I guess a lot of times us as dads, we get stuck in that go mode, kind of like you said, like I gotta work, I gotta make sure everybody's straight.
Yeah.
And I feel like with me, I was low key kind of, how do I say it? It was more so of a thing where it was like, well, I know I can control my work ethic.
Yeah.
Like I know I have some sort of balance with this because the actions I take, you know, it will help me keep my job.
Yeah.
Like just as an example, but it's like when I look back at them, it's just like I look at them like, you know, people. It's gonna sound weird, but I always see people as like thunderstorms.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because a storm could be calm 1 minute, then things could get crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, just trying to adapt to two different people because, they change a little bit when they
Yeah.
have a baby. It's understandable. They in mommy mode.
Yeah, they definitely do change.
Yeah. So, that man, that whole time period, bro, that was rough for me.
Yeah, and my son was born during the busiest season of my work schedule, honestly, too,
Mm-hmm.
because I worked in Marine Barracks, Washington, and anybody that know if you work in Marine Barracks, Washington, the June like from April to like September, that's the parade season, and every Friday I'm getting off at 12 at night. Tuesday I'm getting off at 10, 11 o'clock at night. So most of the week, and I work on weekends too, most of the week,
Mm.
because that's just how busy that place is. You only get in the Marine Corps as a man, if you don't have leave days, they only give you 2 weeks to be at home with your kid.
Jeez.
And that's obviously not enough.
Yeah.
Especially if this is your firstborn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if it's your
no.
firstborn, that's only 2 weeks. You're not even really doing much, like,
Yeah.
because that really like uh made stuff 10 times harder too. I feel like I really want to have a second kid because I want to redo what I do what I didn't do in the beginning. Like I want to
Yeah.
be like, okay,
Let me
I
do
was
this
good in the
better.
beginning too. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like I had it under control. I knew what I was doing. I was good. I just know like if I have a second kid, I'm gonna be on top of it 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I'll manage my time better. I'll be more attentive and stuff like that. Because
Mhm.
at the same time, because I'm a chill person. Realistically, every day I'm pretty chill and always laughing and joking. You know me
Yeah.
for the longest
been that
time.
for
So
years, bro.
it's just like it was hard to me to like just flip that switch. I thought I could just flip that switch, and it doesn't work like that realistically.
It
You
don't.
got to be able to. You got to get in that mode way before your son is born. You got to be on top of that because the mother of your child or your wife or your girlfriend, whatever, they want to see that you're putting in just as much work as them,
Yeah.
or there will be resentment there.
Yep.
They want to know that you're reading the books or you're looking up things that pertains to the kid, and you're studying and making sure that you're putting in the work. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the same, at best believe, 100% of the time, they're putting in the work too, because that's their kid. You know,
Yeah.
it's coming out of them.
Yep.
They're definitely gonna strive to be great, to be a great mother, and that's what really a lot of men I feel like fail at.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of men fail at putting in the work that is not seen, like the research and all the study and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm still bad at it right now. I'm getting better. I look up certain things and stuff like that. I don't broadcast it and stuff like that, but I feel like with the communication and the research and stuff like that, that's what a lot of women want to see when they're having a kid with someone and
Mm-hmm.
just putting in the same work as them. You're obviously not going to be able to birth the kid. That's not going
I
to
was about to
be.
say.
You're never going to be in that. You're never going to be on her level with that.
Yeah.
But if you put in the same amount of work that she's doing with all the research and looking up stuff and researching doctors and all types of stuff like that,
Yeah. You got
that's
a good
gonna
point.
that's gonna make the shift easier, and hopefully the person you're with recognize that and gives you the applause, the praise that you deserve, or not praise, but you know, doesn't take it for granted.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't take it for granted,
And,
honestly.
and that's on both sides too.
Yeah.
Cause I like you said, that's a really good point. Is like us as dads, sometimes we don't even notice that they did all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, but it's a good point, bro.
Yeah.
You know, um, yeah, man. I guess like my message to new dads or like expecting fathers, just be there, man. That's
Yeah.
like one of the main things. You got to be there for your kids.
Yeah.
Be there for whoever it is that you had the child with.
Yeah.
You got to be present.
Yeah.
You know, and another thing I wanted to touch on real quick because I think it's important is us as men, we need to hold each other accountable, and
Yeah.
you need to learn to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Admit to when you're wrong.
Yeah.
You know, when you do mess up, try to correct whatever that situation is. Try to
Yeah.
fix it. You know what I mean? Do your best every day to do better.
Yeah.
And I feel like that took me some time to realize. It's just like you get complacent. You think that you running on all cylinders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until somebody give you a little bit of humble pie.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
and I, just and holding accountability too isn't a thing where it's like you shouldn't feel like you're being attacked.
Yeah.
It's just a thing where it's like you messing up here, gotta fix it,
Yeah.
and it's at the betterment of your relationship.
Yeah.
It's betterment at to your the relationship with your child.
Yeah.
I guess just how do you cope with like how do I want to say adapting with I guess like adapting certain things in your life, like maybe it be a hobby or something you enjoy, and still making sure you have time for your family.
Me personally, um, it's my son first before
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff. I'm not really I don't go out usually. I would definitely say I lie to my friends and tell them I gotta hang out, I'm hanging out with my
I ain't
son,
coming out.
or so I can't go because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, man, I enjoy spending time with my kid. Like he be chilling, jumping off the wall like a normal 3 and 4 year old dude, running around trying to fight me and stuff like that. I enjoy that time because you're never gonna get that again.
Yeah, you won't
Once
get
your
it back.
kid turned 15, 16, like you barely see him. Some people say,
Yeah.
they're in their room and stuff like that. And if you provided enough for them and you provide a good life for them, they're doing activities, they're doing sports and stuff like that. So being present with them, that's all the kid really cares about. Realistically, obviously, you gotta get on the ground. You play with the cars. If you got a daughter, you drink tea with them, fake drink tea, answer their fake phone calls
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Because that little person comes first. You don't want to be, you don't. Obviously, you got to find a balance of going out and stuff like that, and that comes with communication with your spouse or the person that you're the father of your child, the mother of your child.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it can't just all fall on one person to take care of the child.
No, that's facts.
That's that builds resentment, obviously, and it makes other things way worse
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
and
And
that's a good point. Cause like, uh, I think people got to learn to give people their time and space, bro. Like, and in parenthood and relationships in general, you know, like how people say, oh, you got to give the mom time. Dads, you got to take time too.
yeah,
Just to be honest with you, like not like you said, I don't really like going out. Like, bro, I don't go out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't go anywhere around here.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I leave. We leave when we leave out. We drive at least an hour away. I live in Wakanda.
yeah,
I ain't gonna say where, but it's Wakanda. So it take a while to get here, and it take a while to get out of here.
Yeah, it did take me a while to get here. I was like, where this motherfucker live at?
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Like when we do go out, like you said, we go out as a unit.
Yeah,
Or we'll drop little man off with his grandparents.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I always try to tell my wife, I'm like, man, you gotta get out and go out with your friends. Like just with you and your friends. You know what I'm saying? Or, go out to the spa. Like take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
Like, and then and bringing it back to the men because, that's what we talking to on this Father's Day episode is you gotta take care of yourself, bro. And like you said, as long as it's not a situation where it's an imbalance where like one person's doing more than the other and you just gotta find it. And once y'all find that balance and where it works for the both of y'all when it comes to raising your kid, you just gotta make sure you do it because it's very important. You can't be a good dad if you're not taking time for yourself too.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And if y'all not together, communication is really the key.
Shit.
I honestly,
when you are together.
Yeah, that too. I honestly like if the relationship has resentment and stuff like that, you got to be mature enough to throw that out the window.
That's facts.
Honestly, because if you're not with that person, any of what they do that doesn't pertain to the kid should not matter to you.
That's true.
I know that's the you got all this wisdom and stuff thing to say, but situation does dictate and people have emotions and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if all that comes before the kid, the child is going to suffer.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
And I'm not saying anything that's revolutionary. That's just
facts.
That's just literally what it is. If you put your emotions about the girl that you had the kid with over your daughter or your son, your child is going to suffer because you're like, oh, I don't want to go over there because I got to see her and this and that. And then you're not thinking about, oh, I want to just go see my son. You're thinking about, you got to see her. Mm-hmm. And then your kid is suffering or your daughter is suffering. So that's really what it is when it's two people trying to co-parent. Like they, outside of the kid, that stuff has nothing to do with you if y'all are not together.
Yeah.
Realistically. So that's just really where a lot of men got to put their ego to the side and stuff like that. There's also other situations where females got to put their egos to the side and let that person let that guy be a father to the kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there are situations where it's one way, there are situations where it's the other way. You can't really tell until you know the person or you know their situation. Mm-hmm. But realistically, from what I see, like people don't put that to the side. They either trying to mix it all together or they don't know what they want realistically. Yeah. And then that just affects the kid. First, you got to find out what you want, what y'all want to do. If y'all not together, figure out something that works for you. Mm-hmm. And then the kid is going to see y'all on the same page. And even if you're not living in the same house, he's going to know that you got two parents that care about them.
That's true.
And that makes the process a lot easier for them because obviously kids are smart. My son knows, oh, I'm going to mommy's house, I'm going to daddy's house. But at the same time, he see us interact with each other in a civil manner and we're happy to be his parent and stuff like that, where we communicate on certain things and we always let each other know like, oh, I got him this time, I got him that time. If you need to go do this, oh, I'll take him. Yeah. Just let me, like we always communicate to where he knows it's not hectic.
Right. No, that's facts.
And
he's always going to be taken care of.
Yeah, he's always going to be taken care of. And grandparents play a big part too, by the way.
No, for sure. No, that's real because, there's been far too many times, bro, like where I'm at, like at my last job, there was two guys in there that were saying that like them and their their spouse haven't been able to go out in like 2 years without their kid. That's what I was like,
That's
dog.
crazy.
And they were like, yeah, my mom, like, or my parents, they just don't watch them. And then, like, when I heard that, it made me, appreciate my folks and and my wife's folks because,
Yeah.
bro, like you have to have that time together, bro. Like with your spouse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like y'all got to do the work. You're doing the work all day, every day with your kid, but y'all still need to take some time too. Like, I want people to know that that's a very important aspect of any relationship. And, sometimes us as men, maybe we don't realize that, um, how much time is important just to whoever, your kid, your spouse, your family in general.
Yeah.
Time that you spend with them is very important. And, I was, when you were saying that, I was thinking of a question,
Hmm.
because, we always hear it, when we were growing up, or still to this day, that notion of, just take it like a man.
Yeah.
Um, so, like when you have situations where, you separate from your spouse,
Yeah.
or somebody may pass away, or, shit, you might go through something and you don't necessarily know how to handle it, but like they always say, oh, you gotta take it like a man.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
Yeah.
You can't, it's almost like you can't stop, you can't breathe,
Yeah.
you gotta keep going.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, bro? Because that's hard when you really start to get into it. It's not
Yeah.
an easy task.
Yeah. Definitely. For years, for me, when I was growing up, I used to cry a lot.
Yeah.
I used to cry a lot. They used to call me a crybaby. I'm not even gonna lie. Um, my son, coincidentally, he does that now too. And I try not to criticize him on that because when you when you grow up, they tell you not to cry and stuff like that, especially as a
Mm-hmm.
black kid, or especially any type of from any boy. They tell you not to cry, don't show no emotion and stuff like that.
Yep.
And after a while, like I didn't cry for years,
Yeah.
even after being wronged or going through tough situations, failing at certain things in life. I didn't cry for years.
Yeah.
And sometimes I felt like I was like, damn, am I like a robot type shit,
Yeah, no,
stuff
for
shit like that.
real.
I was like, do I not have this emotion anymore and stuff like that? That's what really was kicking me for a while. And then I joined the Marine Corps, and then I was in boot camp and whatnot, and I was failing at this one thing I couldn't do, which was swimming. Like we
I
can't swim.
remember that stuff.
Yeah, so I couldn't. I could not swim before I joined the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And while I was in boot camp, I could not swim for the life of me.
Yeah.
Like I almost died a couple times. I ain't gonna lie. I almost died a couple times trying to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
And like that was the first after failing at it for such a while and realizing like, oh, this could really hinder me from graduating and stuff. Like I broke down. Like I cried for like the first time in like probably was like 10 years.
Dang.
Boot camp. I was
Yeah.
like, it was crazy. And then after that, like I still didn't after breaking down, it just like felt so good to get it all out. I cried
Mm-hmm.
about it was just like I cried for that situation, but all the stuff that I kept built in for years, I cried. That all came out. And just like I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And even now, like I still it's not as stuff happens. I know stuff happens. I don't cry as frequent, but like every like probably once a year, something like twice a year, something like that. I would probably cry about a situation or cry about stuff that's happened if I feel overwhelmed, if I get like depressed and whatnot. And it has helped me to in fathering where I was like, I understand that my son cries a lot, but I give him that space to cry. Like I don't when he's crying, I don't talk to him like stop crying, I don't belittle him, stuff like that, call him crybaby, stuff like that. Like I just let him cry, get it out, and he gets over it within 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And if it's just me just sitting there listening to him cry for 20 seconds, I could deal with that because in the long run, he's gonna be healthy emotionally.
That's a good point.
He's gonna be healthy emotionally, and I know he's gonna be able to express his feelings. And when people talk to him a certain way, or when people or when he's hurt, he'll know how to express his emotions.
Yeah.
So that's my thing on taking it like a man. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And it's funny because like I feel like I fell into that same kind of mode where it was like, I still felt the emotion of wanting to cry,
Yeah,
and sometimes I just couldn't.
yeah,
Like I felt like I was like, bro, I need to cry right now, but
yeah,
I can't.
yeah, yeah,
So, and then it was, it got to a point where you start to do that thing where you think everything's straight, and then you just get to kind of like you say, you get to that point where it's like it just happens, bro. Like it just comes out, and you cry, and a lot of guys will do that in private. You know what I'm saying? Um, and for me, I feel like that's okay.
yeah,
I know a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't try to hide emotion. I don't think it's necessarily hiding it. I think a lot of times for men, we feel safe doing that.
yeah,
Like, for me, to be completely honest with you, I feel safer alone when I need to express certain things, because I don't feel like it's needed for everybody to see
yeah,
it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I feel like a lot of men don't want it to be used against them
That too.
in the future
Yeah, that's
because
facts.
we live in a society where it's like, as much as people want to say we've progressed in our emotional thinking and stuff, where it's like, oh, men could cry and stuff like that. Realistically, down the line, somebody gonna bring that up, especially sometimes your spouse, if
Yeah.
they're not emotionally intelligent or not all the way there in a situation where they're angry,
Mm-hmm.
and then they spout that back out at you. They spit that back out at you, and then that's where a lot of men they don't show those emotions and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I live in the I live on this, like, you just got to be like the bigger person.
Yeah,
It's easier to be the bigger person than to stoop to that person's level every time.
that's true.
Every time I got to get down at your level, it's just making my life harder.
Yeah,
I could learn to let stuff go. Like, everything isn't worth me stressing over it, because a lot of times I can't really control that situation,
yeah,
for real, for real. So that's the way I feel about it.
yeah. No, that's facts. Man.
And to a lot of people, that comes off as nonchalant, but
That's how you gotta. It's the truth.
that's
You
but
know.
that's not what it is. Like,
Yeah,
if I assess the situation, especially as a dad, like, I can't do nothing about that right now.
yeah,
Like, I literally can't do nothing about this situation. Like, I'm not going to stress over it. And a lot of moms and wives, girlfriends, baby mothers, or mothers of a child see that as you not caring.
yeah. And
Realistically, most people, they do care, but
there's nothing I could do.
there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and I feel like sometimes, like in my thinking with that, I don't think I express it the correct way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I don't go by expressing that the correct way, because I know, just being transparent, I'm pretty sure that there have been times where my wife may feel a way about a certain situation, but for me, I've accepted that I can't fix anything, I can't do anything about it, nothing can be done at this moment
Yeah.
about what's going on, and I accept it, and then it could come off as being, like you said, it's dismissive or
Yeah.
it's insensitive.
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, just I guess like just learning how to be softer in your approach to how you're feeling when you when you say certain things is
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to learn that.
Yeah.
It's it's a challenge.
Yeah. Because tone means a lot to women.
It does,
It
bro.
means a lot. I've
And the
noticed.
kids.
Yeah, yeah. Like, when I say certain things in my head, oh, this is cool. Like,
Yeah.
I said this with my tone ain't really like defensive or meant to be offensive.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, we straight. And then I'm hearing, why you say that like that? What you mean, why I say that like that? There's nothing.
Well, I said it normally.
There's literally nothing behind what I said.
Yeah.
There's no animosity behind what I said. That's just how I said it. It just came out like that.
Yeah.
And
No.
then that's where, like, you see yourself being taken the wrong way. I feel like,
Yeah.
man.
No, that's true.
And I feel like, to me as a dad, I think I struggle with, is I don't want my son to feel like I'm soft with him, like he could get over on me.
Yeah, you got dog. I feel that, bro.
That's my biggest thing with him, because it's like his mom say something, and it's like a drill instructor walked in the room, and he turned around and he get an attention, and I say something, he laughing, and I'm like, "Am I a joke to you?" Like, do I have to raise my voice all the time? Like, is there something I'm not doing right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it just like, it's like, do you think I'm a fool? Am I a clown? Like, am I funny to you? Like,
Bro, but see, that's the hard part of being the fun parent, bro.
yeah, that's really the hard part of being the fun parent.
Oh, they be
Like-
testing it, bro.
Like, they really,
yeah, kids gonna test you, bro.
kids definitely test you. Like,
Yeah.
kids are emotionally intelligent. They pick up on stuff real quick, especially kids these days. Like I was saying, my son, like, when my ex-wife say something, it's law.
Yeah.
When I say something, he try to dance around it. He think he just get away because I have taken up this role subconsciously or consciously of being the fun parent.
Yeah.
So he always laughing and giggling and stuff, and I'm just like,
No, I'm serious.
he's like, I'm dead serious. It's like, I really gotta yell now because you think I'm a joke.
Right.
You think I'm a clown, and that's the one thing it hits me when it's happening in the moment. It's like, I really don't like this.
Yeah, no, for real.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't want him to. I just don't know. It's kind of. That's where I need to get better a lot as a parent. That and the research and stuff like that. I feel like that's my biggest two.
Like growing
Things.
points.
Yeah, that's my biggest growing points. I think as a dad.
That's facts. For me, bro, being patient is one of I say that's like my main flaw, bro. Is and that's with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like just learning how to be patient and, you know, like when he wilding,
Yeah.
I gotta learn how to calm down,
Yeah.
you know, because, you know, you don't want to just react to things, all the time. Sometimes you gotta chill and figure out a different approach instead of just going in with whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, like, definitely appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no, for real, it was a whole year in the making.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good to have you.
It was great, man. It was a great time. I got to express something. This is therapeutic. I'm not gonna lie. Talking to a fellow dad, because not a lot of my friends are dads.
Yeah,
honestly, there's not a lot of people I
Same.
know around my age that are dads. There's a lot of older generation, and sometimes the older generation, it just feels like they're talking down to you.
Yeah. We ain't had to do all that.
Yeah, like it just feels like they're talking down to me, and then and sometimes I just get irritated. It's like, bro, like I know what I'm doing, so don't talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for real. I feel that.
That's really my thinking, because it was like, he been surviving, thriving for all these years.
I was about to say,
like,
made it this far.
we made it this far. Like, this is a new era. You ain't got to talk down to be like, I'm not the parent that you're gonna be, or you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be a different parent. I'm gonna do things differently. I'm gonna do things my way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, I find talking to older generation. I'm not saying more people should have kids, and that's not what I'm saying. If you can't support kids, if you can't have kids, you can't love them the right way. If you got stipulations with your love for your kid, I don't think you should have kids. That's just on me. That's just
facts. Because love for your kid is unbound, bro.
Yeah. Like no matter who they are, no matter how they come out, the disabilities, the intricacies, their difficulties, I feel like you should always have love for your kid, no matter what.
No, that's facts.
Especially them growing up and stuff like that. Now, if they grow old and turn into a serial killer now, you could definitely disown.
I was about to say, I'm
you,
shunning you.
You
gotta go, buddy.
That's not my son.
I'm gonna change my name.
Yeah.
Bro,
But,
like,
yeah.
Nah, bro, but from father to father, bro, happy Father's Day.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, man.
And to all the dads out there that are watching, learn to be patient, my guys. Learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Express how you feel. Communicate, and
Be patient.
And be patient, man. It's that's what it is, and
it's a marathon.
It is.
It's definitely a marathon.
Yep. Take your time, and just a final note, because a lot of us don't hear it often. Love y'all.
Yeah.
I hope y'all have a great Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Hope they treat you to a meal or something.
Yeah, something.
You know what I'm saying?
And I also want to shout out all the good mothers
Not
that
for
make
real.
the fathers better.
That is a fact. No.
As a dad, you're not going to become good you're not gonna be a good dad, or having a great mother that's along with you for that ride makes being a good dad way easier.
That is a fact. Yep.
It makes it way easier. And once you find that person that's a great mother, then your life will be a lot easier.
You lucky.
You're a
Very
lucky man.
Yeah, for
You're
real.
a lucky man.
Appreciate her.
Appreciate her.
You know. But yeah, man. I'll see y'all in the next one.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
I'll
coming out
definitely be
again,
coming
brother.
back. I gotta come back. I gotta come back.
And it'll be on some, you know, you just keep on talking, bro. That's the whole point of this show, is to get stuff out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I can offer an outlet to you, or like you said, with the idea we spoke about,
Yeah.
you need me for that, let me know.
I'll let you know, bro.
I'm here for y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole goal, is for us as men to have an outlet to actually have constructive conversations. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's Trav signing off on another one, y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. My boys with me.
I got you.
Peace.
All right, bro. Peace.